is a world within you that no one can see, yet it is the only world that truly matters. It is a kingdom built not of stone or steel, but of thoughts. Every belief you hold, every image you repeat in your imagination, every word you whisper to yourself in silence, becomes the blueprint of your destiny. Your mind is the factory of fortune, and every second of your life it is producing, whether you command it to or not. Most people move through life unaware that they are the builders of their own fate. They labor in the fields of doubt, sowing seeds of limitation and fear, then curse the heavens when their harvest yields struggle and lack. But the wise, the few who rise, understand that success is never a miracle of chance. It is the natural consequence of disciplined thought. Thomas Edison did not stumble upon the light bulb. He forged it through the furnace of relentless imagination. Before the filament ever burned, it existed in the fire of his mind. Andrew Carnegie did not inherit greatness. He conceived it. He saw castles of steel in the fog of possibility long before the first brick was laid. Walt Disney stood before an empty swamp and saw a kingdom of dreams. And Henry Ford, mocked for his vision of a horseless carriage, smiled quietly because he knew creation begins within. Every invention, every empire, every fortune that has ever existed began as an invisible seed planted in the soil of the human mind, and your life too is a garden. The question is, what are you planting? When you rise in the morning, what is the first thought you manufacture? When you lie awake at night, what visions fill your assembly line? Is your mind producing fear, scarcity, resentment? Or is it crafting courage, abundance, and faith? You are both the engineer and the laborer of your mental factory. The machines of thought never stop. They respond to your orders. If you command them to produce limitation, they will obey without question. But if you instruct them with faith, if you feed them with purpose and oil them with gratitude, they will create miracles. The tragedy of modern life is not that people aim too high and miss, it's that they aim too low and hit. You are not poor because the world has deprived you. You are poor because you have allowed your imagination to rust. Wealth is not a bank account. It is an idea that has been manufactured, refined, and distributed into the world. Look around. Everything you touch, from the chair beneath you to the device in your hand, once existed in the invisible realm of thought. The world you see is merely the shadow of the world men once imagined. So the question is no longer whether you can build your fortune. It is whether you will take command of your mind, because here is the truth. Your thoughts are not passive. They are blueprints. Your emotions are not accidents. They are energy currents that direct your life. Every time you dwell on fear, you are constructing failure. Every time you repeat gratitude, you are welding success into being. You are not waiting for opportunity. You are manufacturing it. The problem is, most people are producing chaos because they have never learned to manage their mental machinery. Their thoughts work against them. Their imagination, untrained, becomes a weapon of destruction. But once you become conscious, once you seize control of your inner factory, you realize the power that was always yours. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture your life 5 years from now. If nothing changes, what will your factory produce? And if everything changes, if you decide to rebuild from the ground up, what kind of masterpiece could you design? The blueprint is not in the world, it's in you. Every success story begins when a person dares to believe that the invisible is more powerful than the visible. Transformation does not begin with movement, it begins with awareness. The moment you awaken to the realization that your thoughts are the architects of your destiny, you gain access to a power that most people never touch in their entire lifetime. It is the same force that drove Edison to keep experimenting when the world mocked him, the same energy that whispered to Lincoln in the darkness of defeat, "You were born for something greater." Understand, this success is not something you chase, it's something you attract by the person you become. The world is a mirror reflecting your internal state. If your mind is filled with fear, doubt, and hesitation, your world will echo those vibrations right back at you. But if your mind radiates clarity, purpose, and faith, the universe aligns to match your frequency. Every thought carries a vibration. Every belief sends out a signal. Your mind is not a cage, it is a transmitter. And whatever you transmit, you receive. That is why two people can live under the same sky and experience two entirely different worlds. One sees obstacles, the other sees opportunity. One feels trapped, the other feels tested. One complains that life is unfair, while the other thanks life for the challenge that will forge his strength. The difference is not in their circumstances. The difference is in their conditioning. You were not born to live in reaction. You were born to live in creation. Yet most people spend their lives reacting to bills, to opinions, to fear, to the demands of others. Their minds are factories working on autopilot, producing the same patterns day after day. They wonder why their life doesn't change. It's because their mental blueprint hasn't. To change your results, you must first reprogram the operator, your mind. That's where discipline enters. Discipline is not punishment, it's training. It's the sharpening of your mental tools until they can carve a new destiny out of chaos. Every time you resist distraction, every time you say no to comfort, every time you focus your thoughts on what you want instead of what you fear, you are recalibrating your factory toward success. Discipline is not glamorous. It's quiet, unseen, and often misunderstood. But it is the silent architect of every great empire ever built. When you see a successful person, do not admire the moment of victory, admire the years of invisible construction that took place inside their mind. Before Ford built his factory, he built his mindset. Before Carnegie built his fortune, he built his faith. Before Edison lit the world, he illuminated his imagination. The invisible always precedes the visible. That is the unbreakable law of creation. So, what are you building in secret? Because whatever you consistently hold in your mind will soon materialize in your life. Your dreams are not fantasies, they are blueprints trying to find expression. But they can only be assembled by hands that are steady and a mind that refuses to quit. You must become a master craftsman of thought, patient, precise, and intentional. You must learn to catch yourself in moments of doubt and redirect that energy into faith. When your mind says, "I can't," you must answer with, "Watch me." When fear whispers, "It's too late," you must declare, "I'm just getting started." There is no greater power in the universe than a mind that has decided. Decide today that you will no longer be a prisoner of circumstance. Decide that your thoughts will serve you, not sabotage you. Decide that the factory of your mind will no longer produce limitation, but abundance. Because once you decide, the machinery begins to shift. The gears of destiny start turning. New opportunities appear not because they were missing before, but because you finally opened your eyes to see them. And in that moment, you'll understand that success was never hiding from you, it was waiting for your command.